Hey everybody, we are here today with Shawn Kriewaldt, your expert in real estate. And today we're going to be talking about something that is definitely kind of a complicated subject, at least for me, and that is tax assessments. So thanks for being here today, Shawn.
Thanks so much.
Yeah. So, first question for people who are first-time home owners like myself, what exactly are tax assessments?
Well, tax assessments are a way to value your land and your real estate relative to everyone else that's in the general area, kind of in the tax district, if you will. It's a way for the government to use into your assessment and also a mill rate, which is the amount of tax per dollar of valued property that you have to generate a tax base for the schools in our area here for the technical college and also for the streets and the services, police and fire, et cetera.
Got to be taxed on everything, and your property is no different, right?
Right,
Um,
death and taxes.
Perfect. So, when they are doing their tax assessment, what are kind of the biggest things that they're taking into account that the assessor is looking at?
Great question. They're looking at how many bedrooms you have, of course, the area that you're in, how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, the level of construction, the general shape that your house is in, and we're taxed in arrears. So, in other words, no pun intended. We're taxed backwards. So at the end of this year, they'll figure out what the mill rate is, and relative to your assessment, they'll come up with how much taxes you owe for 2019. And they do that by what state your house is in January 1st, or approximately January 1st of like for this year, January 1st of 2019, they're basing their assessment. So if you were building a house and your house was not complete, but the foundation was in and maybe the deck was put on and that's all the further you're worth. I say, well, the value of your land was 198,000 and we had a foundation in and the deck on. So that's not going to be the full value of your house, even though your house might be complete in 3 months and you get to live there the rest of the year. Your tax will only be based on where it was January 1st.
Well, that's nice at least.
Well, conversely, on the other side of things, if you bought a property and tore it down, and you now just had a vacant lot, you'd be taxed as if you had the real estate.
Of everything that was there January 1st.
Correct. So I don't know if I explained your question, Elizabeth, but
yeah, definitely. They're looking at kind of the public information. They're not necessarily going inside your house, right, and like taking a look around, or do they?
They do have an assessor that they'll send out to new properties. If you, for instance, did a large remodel, added onto your house, they would take that into consideration too, and they would send an assessor through. You, of course, can refuse to let that assessor in your door, but then you forego your rights to challenge whatever the assessment is. So if you think you're assessed too high or too low, and I don't know why maybe you would fight the too low of an assessment relative to your neighbors if you were maybe selling or something, but typically you want to pay as little tax as possible. And if you feel that it's not fair, they do have an open records and a time that you can go in and fight that and give them an explanation of why you think that's unfair.
And where would you be able to, is there somewhere that you can go to find out this information of what they have already assessed your home at?
Depending on where you live, here in Dane County, we can go to Access Dane. If you just Google Access Dane, you will see the whole database of what your home is worth by entering your address or your last name or the tax parcel number, and you can see what they've done. They also will send you each year and it's typically not until April or so. We get in City of Madison, we get a little postcard that says your new tax assessment for 2019 is X. Your last year's was this. Here's the increase. Here's how you go about fighting that if you wish, or challenging that.
Perfect. So they at least let you know exactly how you can fight it.
Correct. Correct. It's also on Access Dane when the different periods are for the review. Local communities, City of Madison. Again, Google City of Madison Assessor. There's a comprehensive site that is even more in depth than the county site. If you're in other counties, you typically can find that valuation or different other areas. Say you're in Fitchburg, they have their own database. Sometimes they'll direct you to another database if they're not employing an assessor, if they're just hiring an outside company to do it. You can find the data on their sites as well.
Great. Well, I know that people can take a look at those sites, but if they have any more specific questions about their property or kind of what they would need to look at if they were going to sell their home, how can they get in contact with you?
Real easy. They can reach out to my cell phone, which is 608-212-5743. Or they can go to our website to contact us that way, either madisonneighborhoods.com or Danecountymarket.com.
That's easy enough.
Yeah,
Thank you so much. Oh, go ahead.
Just one quick little overview again. So for assessment, the assessment is a number that they're basing the value on, that they're going to apply their tax rate, which is called the mill rate. So the assessment is known in like April, but the mill rate, they don't determine, I guess, until they know how much taxes they need, and they have the total assessed value, they have the number, here's how much taxes we want. They kind of backdoor this mill rate number that they multiply through. In our area, if I were to look at City of Madison, there's all kinds of different rates depending on what school district, because you can live in the City of Madison and go to different school districts. Say you can live in Madison, go to Waunakee or Verona or Sun Prairie or Monona, Middleton, McFarland, just depends what area of the city you're in. But those mill rates can differ quite a bit. For instance, if you live in Madison and go to Monona Grove, your mill rate is $24.33 per thousand. And I think the least expensive one is if you are going to the Waunakee School District, and that's $17.70 per thousand that they're taxing you. The assessment's also based on market value, but it's not a one-to-one value. So some areas it's your market value is $200,000, but they might assess your house at like $204,000. So essentially, they kind of play with the numbers to get the tax base that they need.
So they're pretty close, but not always exact.
Right, and their market value can vary tremendously from what the actual market value is in true practice, because they're kind of doing some guesswork.
Right.
You might have a 4-bedroom home that lays out perfect, is open concept, it's decorated perfectly, staged perfectly. We can sell that for more money than we can a 4-bedroom that's tight and cramped, and the bedrooms are only 9 feet by 9 feet, and 3 of them are in the lower level. Even though they might say the market value is the same on that, it may sell for much less. So that assessed value and their market value they're basing it on, we found from research, is typically not in correlation, and it can vary either direction.
Right. All right. Well, that is good to know. Thank you so much, Shawn. Again, if you have any more questions about this or anything else real estate related, be sure to reach out to Shawn and he can help you. And that is all we have for you today. Thank you.
Thanks
Shawn.
Elizabeth, and thanks for tuning in.